Hello and welcome everybody to Without Within. This is a visual novel made by a person who calls himself, or herself, I don't know, Invert Mouse. It's a slice of life kind of visual novel, and it's about a female calligrapher. That is basically all I know. I also know that it's supposed to be very funny. Let's see about that. Vinti, 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 Vinti. The chants of my fans echoed through the door in front of me. I assume that is the main character who's talking. One of my two bodyguards wrapped his hand around the doorknob. Please prepare yourself, Miss Vinti. Once I open this door, we'll head straight for our limo. The guard had no reason to fret. I had long since grown used to these crowds. I can already tell this is not real. I mean, it's a comedy game. Of course it's not real. Still, I nodded to put him at ease. After taking a deep breath, he pushed the door open. A crowd of hundreds raised their cameras as soon as I stepped out. Yeah, this is probably really not real. My guards waved their arms to shoo them away. This red carpet was for me to walk on after all. I blew a kiss for these starstruck peasants. Really? Miss Vinti, please, let us hurry, my bodyguard said. Too bad for him. I strutted along like a model on a catwalk. A group of reporters managed to worm through the crowd. They now tiptoed over my guards in hopes of scorting that exclusive. Vinti, how does it feel to have won another Calligrapher of the Year award? A reporter asked me. Before I could answer, another dozen people shouted over each other, hoping for my attention. Vinti, may I get a photo with you? Can you sign some autographs for my kids? And two for me, of course. Okay, that is a good one. I have to be fair, that is a good one. Ah, I can't believe I'm standing this close to Vinti. My fans stamped their dirty shoes all over the red carpet. Finally, my bodyguards pulled out their pepper sprays to keep these fans in check. That's normal. Totally normal. That's how that goes. A young male reached in my direction, despite having a spray aimed at his face. Rather admirable for a peasant. I extended a hand for this male fan to kiss. Unfortunately for him, he fainted at the sight of my perfectly polished nails. I reached my limousine at last. My bodyguard opened the door for me, and as I climbed in, my trailing fans snapped as many photos as they could. Miss Vinti! Miss Vinti! The crowd chanted as my car window pulled up. How odd, they never referred to me as Miss. Oh, my graceful presence must have been too much for their sanity. These poor things. I wonder if that was in Chinese some kind of title, the Miss one. Like in Japanese. Now I don't really know how that works in the Chinese language with honorifics or honorifics. Anyway. Miss Vinti! Miss Vinti! And it was just a dream. Yeah. Kinda thought so. Oh. Well, I had fun while it lasted. At least I got to ride in a limousine for a good 30 seconds. In real life, my only registered vehicle was, well, my 10-year-old bicycle. My apartment had no space for a car anyway. Actually, this single room with cracked walls might be an insult to the word apartment. Pull up those curtains for a spectacular $1 view, featuring a sewage pipe and a wall tainted with yellow. I don't really see the yellow part, to be honest. Just open the window if you wish to smell the sewage as well. A breathtaking experience. By the way, sorry, I needed to take back the one-room thing. This place actually had 2 rooms. Thank you very much. The second room happened to be a toilet. That still counted, right? The toilet clocked 3 times a month, so be careful when using it. Oh. Well, when I had an apartment, my toilet was in the smallest room you've ever seen. So I bet your toilet is at least bigger than mine. Was. Miss Vinti! Miss Vinti! A woman's voice echoed from outside. She was no fan, but rather my landlady. I glanced over at my clock. 6 a.m. Waiting another hour or 2 would have been nice. She probably just wanted to tell me about another rent rise. Nothing good ever came out of that woman's mouth. I would be better off staying in bed. Rise and shine, stay in bed. I kinda have the feeling that stay in bed is like an ending. I don't know if there are multiple endings to this game, but kinda like stay in bed feels in a comedy game like, well, I kept on sleeping. The end. Well, let's try it out. Stay in bed. I snuggled back into my blanket. The landlady could knock all she wanted, but my focus was on my calligraphy dreams. I had no time for these common folk matters. A week later. Turned out the landlady was chasing me for my rent. By the time I realized she had already evicted me, now I lived on the streets with nothing but my calligraphies. The past few nights I had been freezing cold, and I ran out of tissues to wipe my runny nose with. To make things worse, I could feel my head heating up from an upcoming fever. What have I done? Oh no! Might I interest you in buying one of my works? I got a 2-for-1 deal today. Bad end. Yeah, I thought so. Well, then let's go back to the decision. There we go. But I called it. I called it. Coming. As I changed into something more appropriate, the landlady still kept knocking. I said I was coming, did I not? Maybe I should walk out naked if that was what she dug. If this were a game, you might get a sale boost too. Depends on the kind of game. Good morning, Miss Vinty, the landlady said. I must ask, what's with that hair? It looks like you just woke up. That's because I did. It's a waste for young ladies like you to sleep away your youth. The landlady shook her head. She had no right to preach me like this. I wanted to tell her, but decided against it, as doing so would give her an excuse to lecture me further. With her size, if I enraged her, she would squash me into Vinty-flavored pancake. Yeah, she is actually a lot larger than you. Miss Vinty. No, that's the... Miss Vinty, your rent was due 3 days ago. Oh. Well, at least there was no rent increase. Sorry, madam. My next paycheck will come after tonight's shift, so I'll pay you first thing tomorrow morning. The landlady grunted. All right. Just know that if this keeps up, you'll have to find somewhere else to live. She spun around to leave. Once she disappeared behind the corridor, I kicked my door shut, causing a piece of my cracked wall to fall off. I tried shoving the piece back into place. My effort resulted in more wall fragments flaking off. That is actually very intelligent to do. Now, when you leave the apartment, you probably also have to pay for the wall. Great. The landlady would make me pay for that next month. Once I became an accomplished calligrapher, she would beg for a chance to shine my shoe. The question is, will that ever happen? Hey, I sounded a bit ranty before, but that was never my intention. A lot of famous people had humble beginnings. I would follow in their footsteps. But first, I needed to put in the work. So that is how you see yourself. But that is how you actually look, huh? Looks a little bit like Konata from Lucky Star. In the way it's drawn. And of course it's very like chibi-like. Big head, small body. But you know, that's normal. I mean, it's a style, isn't it? And so I returned to the busiest street in my area. Oh, you're actually selling that stuff on the street. Oh. Oh well. With my calligraphy spread before me, I sat on the concrete and rested my back against the fence. Car horns blared behind me, mixed with people shouting things about each other's mothers. Oh god. These cars kept expelling fumes that made me choke. Just one of the many things I dealt with in the name of art. Pedestrians took up almost every inch of space on the street ahead. Surely this would be the day when somebody spotted my talent. Probably. The power of positivity. As always, no one afforded me anything more than a passing glance, and my will soon dwindled. Let me be honest. I never expected to be showered with praise by every head who passed here. What was that old saying? 10% of the people you reached out to will buy your work. I could live with that. Even just 1%. Please, anything but 0. Yeah, you know, if you're on a very busy street, you probably... Like, busy streets are not the best places to sell your stuff. In busy streets, there are busy people and they're just passing by. You have to go to a street where there are like a lot of people, but it's not like really cramped, you know? That is what you need to do if you want to sell stuff on the street. At least, you know, not that I sold stuff on the street, but that's usually like the experience I got from other people. I wanted to scream at these people. They had no idea how much sweat I poured into these calligraphies. Persevere rant. Okay, rant is probably another bad end, but let's try it out for funsies. Enough was enough. I sprang off the ground and kicked the fence behind me. The crowd stared as I ranted on and on about their ignorance. I felt so good to let loose. If these people knew how to spot real art, my career would have already kicked off. 2 days later, my eruption made its way to the internet. Guys, make sure to never buy anything from her. She's nuts. Who does she think she is? Spread the news, everyone. We need to make sure people like that never get anywhere. No, that is actually... I don't know how that is. I don't know if this is actually in Taiwan or Hong Kong or China on the mainland, you know. I don't know where. I don't know where that is. But if that happened in Germany, I could tell you, she would probably sell everything she had. Just because of that eruption. My career was doomed. If I knew one mistake would destroy everything, I would have kept my trap shut. How I wished I could relive that day. Good thing this is a visual novel. Okay, the creator has good ideas for bad ends. Persevere, of course. I decided to keep these displeasures to myself. People often said patience would be rewarded. I wondered if my patience would ever become worthwhile. Just as I thought this, a man paused to look at my calligraphies. He had a bucket of fried chicken in his hand. The smell made my mouth water. As the man eyed my works one by one, I felt my cheeks heating up from anticipation. At last, someone who had spared more than a moment with my works. This must be my reward. The timing could hardly be more perfect. I summoned the courage to speak with the man, but he spoke first. You're charging for these? I managed a tiny nod. The man snorted. I would never hang these on my wall, even if you gave them to me for free. Seriously, this is the most shameless display I've ever seen. Trolls online were one thing. Confronting one in real life was a rarity. True that, true that. But to be honest, for my personal taste, trolls could stay in the internet, you know. Judging from the man's scrawny arms, I bet I could overpower him with ease. Then he would know just how big of a blunder he had made. God damn it. Okay, of course, the right decision is restrain, but we attack. I crunched up one of my calligraphies and rose. The man must have sensed my violent intent, as he backed a step and shielded his face with a bucket of chicken. I threw a punch at him before he could flee into the crowd. My fist connected with the side of his head. That marked the first time I had ever hit someone. My knuckles hurt from the blow, but seeing the guy's dropped jaw made it worthwhile. He probably grew up this way because nobody ever dared to punish him. A couple of pedestrians popped in and held me back from attacking the man further. I squirmed against their grips, but gave up as my anger waned. Once my breathing returned to normal, the civilians loosened their hold, and I brushed myself free. I remember this. The man fled for the train station, eating another piece of chicken as he did so. I hoped he choked on it. The next morning, it's probably police, isn't it? Someone knocked on my door. I checked the clock. 5 a.m. When would the landlady cut me a break? Miss Vinty, it's the police. I cupped a hand over my mouth, as if keeping quiet would make the police go away. They must be here to ask about my assault yesterday. That guy I punched was nothing but talk. I should have let him ramble. God knew what would befall me now. I prayed I would at least be spared a jail sentence. Tears streaked down my cheeks as I buried myself under the blanket. This had to be nothing more than a bad dream. Yay, another bad end. Okay, let's scroll back once more. Sorry, I was interrupted here. But at the perfect time, because I could scroll back and now we are going to restrain ourselves, because we're good people. Folks always said to ignore trolls. I clenched my teeth and stayed put. After chuckling in my face, the man strutted off. Determined to prove him wrong, I continued to sit and wait for potential customers. Yeah, you go, laddie. Fulfill your dreams. Although this seems a little bit hopeless. Did you actually learn calligraphy? Man, it's a bit sad if she actually learned that or studied that she has to sit on the street and sell her stuff. Oh well, I guess we'll learn about that in the course of the game. Another 1,000 people walked by without sparing me a look. Lingering here any longer would be a waste of time. As I packed my things, I insisted I was leaving because my part-time job started in an hour. Deep inside, I knew that man's words had rocked my confidence. Giving up on calligraphy would mean I had wasted all this time over nothing. Yet, if I lacked the gift, persevering might make things worse. Tears welled in my eyes, and I clenched my fists to hold them back. Speaking of tears, I heard a kid crying within the crowd. Looked like we had a lost child on our hands. Some pedestrians shot him glances, but none of them offered more than that. These really were horrible people. To cheer myself up, I told myself I would never want my calligraphies to be owned by people like that. I should help the kid, but that would mean being late for my job. Pfft. Of course we are going to help. Like, what even? Who wouldn't do that? Maybe that is a bad end though, like we'll get fired from our job. Still, it's the right thing to do. This is like the first time I don't know what to actually do. But I'll help, because as mentioned, we're good people. If I judge others for abandoning a child, then did the same myself, I would be a jerk and a hypocrite. With a sigh, I walked up to the boy. There, it's okay. Did you lose your mommy? The boy was sobbing too hard to answer. By the way, if this is the correct way, I'll do the other decision in the end, you know? Okay? Okay. I leaned in to stroke his back with one hand and his head with the other. Let me know if you lost mommy, okay? I'll help you find her, so there's no need to be scared. The kid managed a nod, and I whispered good boy into his ear. What's your mommy's name? Hungry. Her name is Hungry? You're a genius, lady. The boy's tummy growled, and I realized what he meant. Oh well, how about I buy you a sandwich? The kid shook his head. I want ice cream. Hey kid, ice cream is more of a dessert actually. I want ice cream. And so ice cream it was. One for him and none for me. The money came out of my pocket, of course. My poor wallet. At least this kid could have eaten the whole thing rather than let half of it melt on his shirt. Jessie, the boy said. That's mommy's name. Jessie. Jessie, I called as I strode along the street. That's actually a kind of weird name. Assuming this is in China or something, or Taiwan, I don't know. I called as I strode along the street. Now people stared at me more than ever. Enough to make me blush, in fact. Maybe I should try shouting Jessie at random the next time I sold my calligraphies. Yeah, maybe. The sky turned orange as time ticked by. Yes, I knew my shift started half an hour ago. Stop reminding me. Why don't you bring the boy to the police? Like that is the first thing I'd do. A woman squeezed through the crowd and scurried towards us. She ran past the red light, nearly getting hit by a truck in the process. Mommy! The boy shook free of my hold and rushed into his mother's embrace. After muttering apologies to her son, the woman gazed toward me. Oh, thank you so much for your help. You're wonderful. Just wonderful. Apparently, wherever that woman is living, the world is still alright. Because if somebody saw that here, the first thing the mother would probably assume was that Vinti kidnapped the boy. It's a sad world sometimes. It's really a mad world. Mad world. The torrent of praises curled my lips into a stupid grin. Anyone would have done the same thing. Please, if there is anything I can do in return, just let me know, the mother said. Actually, there is something I need help with. The mother nodded. Anything in my power, miss. Which way back to the train station? So we did the right thing. I wonder though what would have happened if I did differently. As mentioned, I'll do the alternative decisions in the end of the game. If I did them, if I didn't do them in the first place. The sky had gone dark by the time I arrived at work. I opened the restaurant door gingerly to avoid making any noise. Stealth mode switched on. They called me Ninja Vinti for a reason. Miss Vinti! The voice of my boss nearly made me jump onto the ceiling fan. Why didn't you take the mother with you and let her explain to him that you just helped finding the child? I'll bet he won't be that angry then. Sorry, I'm late. I wanted to explain, but my boss glared at me, and my tongue slurred out a bunch of syllables. My explanation was in there somehow. Probably. Maybe. I received an earful from my boss, but at least I got to keep my job. Several colleagues shot me frowns for not being here during such a busy period. In the end, I took all the blame without complaint. I hate when people do that. Are you stupid? Do you not speak your own language? This is totally not on your part. And this is totally, you did the right thing. People. Well. Well, at one point, I locked myself inside the toilet and screamed into the bowel. Well, that might help too. I also might or might not have fantasized about drinking my workmates' heads into the toilet. Dunking! I thought she was thinking about drinking out of the toilet. I thought, what is happening now? That was for me alone to know though. At least I earned the paycheck needed to keep my landlady quiet for another month. As for the month after that, we would see when the time came. All I wanted was to pursue my art, but reality kept pressuring me forward, finding a second job. Out now, the Adventures of Princess Aria. I wonder if these are real movies. On my way home, I spotted a banner for an upcoming visual novel named Princess Aria. Oh, that's a visual novel. Or maybe these are visual novels by the creator now that I think about it. That would be clever. The game has long been hyped on every forum I knew. Amazing art along with a cast of famous voice actors. The writer and composer were big names too. For Princess Aria to have an ad this big, there must be a lot of money put behind the project. The way this banner hung high gave me the sense it was extra important. Bright lights shone on the princess's face to impress potential players. Yes! That was what I really needed! If I had a banner like that, no doubt people would line to buy my calligraphy. I could already imagine how folks would react as I walked along the streets. I don't know, girl, I don't know. I really wonder if your calligraphy is any good. That might also be a problem. Did you ever learn that properly? Hey, I think that was Vinti. Whoa, no way! You mean that famous calligrapher I see on all those banners? Yeah, she must be really good. Maybe we should ask her for her autograph. My agent would then step in to speak on my behalf. Please line up in an orderly fashion, everyone. How much for an autograph? Shut up and take my money. My agent nodded in response. Autographs are available for $100, thanks. My God! My God, $100? Are you crazy? That would be $100, thanks, the game shop's owner said. Princess Aria cost twice what I had predicted. $100 for a visual novel. Wow. That better be the longest visual novel of all time. If I bought the game, I would have too little left for the rent. I opened my wallet, hoping I might have more cash on hand. Then I realized, turned out I had less actually. I hung my hat and the storekeeper sighed. His arched brows pressured me into buying a game. I did ride 3 trains to get here. Might as well pick up something. I told the shopkeeper how much money I had, and he shook his head. The store owner pulled out a different game from under his table. He brushed away the dust on it so I could see the cover. The title read Sunflower War, some visual novel about the battlefield. The battlefield, because there's only one in the world. Copyright 1997, the bottom read. Wow! Wow! No wonder it was so cheap. Art by Invert Mouse, whoever the heck that was. Yeah. So I wonder if that game really exists. Maybe, maybe not. I have to look that up at one point. The front cover would fit perfectly in a kindergarten classroom. I flipped the case to see what was highlighted on the back. This game supported up to 640 to 480 resolution. Truly, the pinnacle of technology. Hey, for 1997 that is actually not bad. The shopkeeper grimaced. He must have sensed I wanted to say no. His stare made my palms stain with sweat, and I ended up buying the game. Dealing with folks like that had always been a weakness of mine. Remind me to never visit the store again. Yeah, I can see that though. I don't know, do you know that? Like when I go in stores, I kinda have the feeling I have to buy something. It's stupid. It's actually stupid. But I feel bad when I go out and have bought nothing. It makes no sense at all. Oh well. With heavy strides, I returned to my apartment. 0 calligraphy sales, late for work, and with rent, topped off by blowing cash on some game I had no interest in. What I really wanted to play was Princess Aria. Forcing myself to suffer anything else would just upset me further. Oh, I don't think it's that bad. Play or sleep? Well, sleep is probably another bad ending or something. What do we do? Let's play. I think that is the right decision to go on with the story, I guess. And as mentioned, other decisions in the end. I did spend money on Sunflower War. Might as well give it a go. The day left me pretty drained, so this relic of a game would do a good job putting me to sleep. I switched on my laptop and inserted the disc, which I partly hoped would fail to load from old age. Too bad, it worked just fine. No doubt a lot of people were loving Princess Aria right now. Meanwhile, here I was, enjoying this 640 to 480 godsend. No voice acting either. These illustrations looked like they were done by a child. I would be better off closing my eyes and imagining my own artworks. Oh, it doesn't look that bad. It's at least way better than whatever I would do. The grass reached up to our knees. As I read along, I painted an image of the scene in my head. The plants rustled as we waded through. We paused once every few steps, fearing there might be snakes hiding among the bushes. Somehow, that is the talker of Sunflower War. Okay. Somehow we managed to survive the evening. The sun surged from beyond the horizon, outlining the earth with an orange glow. Slowly, the blue sky emerged and vanquished the darkness that had haunted us. As light bathed the soil, I found myself in a field of sunflowers. I had imagined this place to look far more terrifying, but anxiety had merely been playing tricks on me. I drew a deep breath to savor the morning fragrance. In the distance, birds chirped as if applauding our survival. I could see it. Not only that, but touch, hear and smell too. An experience crafted by my imagination. The image rivaled the strokes of any artist, and it belonged to me alone. This fulfillment inspired me to take things further. Yeah, this is taking, the next step in imagination. The blasts of gunfire deafened us as we dove behind the wall. A bullet whizzed past the tip of my helmet. Sam had passed this helmet on to me with her dying breath. I would carry on her legacy. The desert heat pinched sweat out from my every pore. I desperately wanted to empty this water bottle down my throat, but with no help in sight, I must consevere every drop. Joe's eyes closed, this time never to reopen. Despite our promise to survive together, only I managed to live. How I wished I could take her place. Ah, she cried a little tear. I finished reading Sunflower War right as the clock struck 3 a.m. How so many people had missed this classic left me dumbfounded. Actually, that would be a lie, as I too had every intention of tossing this game aside. I kept demanding excitement without offering an ounce of passion in return. If I played my part, I might be able to discover so much more. As Sunflower War's credits rolled, I realized just how small the development group was. The team probably knew they stood no chance against the bigger studios. Yet, they still did their best with dated technologies to deliver a vision they believed in. That, lady, is the right, English language. Wait a minute. I open my imaginary dictionary. I am flipping the pages. And I'm not finding the word I'm looking for. That's a positive way to think about stuff, lady. Okay, that works too. The happiness they felt when working on the project poured out every line in this game. I could gaze right into their hearts. Heart. The thing I had long neglected, not neglected. Mommy! Daddy! Oh, this looks fucking adorable. Oh my god, this looks so adorable. Wow. Vinty, what is it, darling? Look, it's my calligraphy. Honey, it's calligraphy. But that's great. I think you have a lot of talent. This is so much fun. I'm going to become a calligrapher. I had forgotten the last time I found joy in calligraphy. Every stroke these days felt like a grocery chore. All I obsessed over was how much, or rather how little, people paid attention to my efforts. My works no longer possessed art, and I failed to notice it. Time to do something about that. I could hardly wait to start. After all, I chose this path because I loved it. Okay. Is this the perfect point to stop? I think this is the perfect point to stop now, is it? Hello and welcome back, everybody, to Vinty's Calligraphy Adventures, also known as Without Within. So last episode we got to know that calligraphy was Vinty's childhood dream, and that she wants to regain her happiness while doing it. And we are following her on that path now. The next day I ventured outside with a new set of calligraphies. Though I made no sales thus far, I still found myself beaming. That might explain why someone smiled back to me. No, why some people smiled back. Perhaps it was the weather, but I swore everyone felt warmer today. Mummy, there she is, the ice cream lady. A boy dragged his mother in my direction. It was that kid I helped out yesterday. The mother and I exchanged nods. Now buy something from her. Honey, the lady has a name. It's rude to call her the ice cream lady. What's her name then? Oh my, well, sorry, what is it? It's Vinty. The mother slapped her boy on the back. See? Her name is Miss Vinty. Mummy, can we buy one of those doodles from the ice cream lady? Doodle must be another word for top-of-the-line calligraphy. No other explanation could restrain me from shaking the brain out of this boy. Come on, it is a child. Jesus. Only because you liked calligraphy as a child doesn't mean he has to know about it. My name was nowhere inside that little brain anyway. The mother checked her wallet, and her face scrunched up the way mine often did. All good, madam. I knew how it felt to be living on the edge. The edge of being homeless. Please, the boy nagged on. This showed why I would never have kids. You know, I kinda start having a problem with you. You're a negative to everything. Negative to everything. I love kids. I love kids. And of course, kids aren't adults. They are not 100% disciplined all the time. That is normal. At least, I mean, as long as they don't smash shit or really behave badly. I mean, he's begging her. He's not on the floor, he's not yelling, he's not punching anybody. It's like, Vinty, be nicer to children. The mother relented at last and bought one of my works. Guess the boy wanted to repay my kindness. You see, he's kinder than you ass. I'm really angry now. I gave his hair a ruffle as thanks. After flashing his missing tooth with a grin, he pulled his mother back into the crowd. Well, at least I scored better marks than yesterday. Another man strolled toward me. Wow, I was on a roll now. With heart on my side, my fame and fortune had arrived. Clean my shoes, piece. God damn it. Hey, it's you again, the man said. Oh, yeah, Jesus. Oh, the troll from yesterday. I calmed my thoughts to avoid causing a scene. Maybe the guy came to apologize. Even a creep like him must know how rude he had been. Yes, my aura had cleansed him off all evil thoughts. Go on, empty your wallet at my greatness. Wow, these new scribbles are even worse than the ones you brought last time. Crazy calligrapher dubstep remix with original. Oh god. Somehow, I had turned into an internet celebrity. Top comment, damn, snap. Wow, she went full crazy, lol. Triangle mouth at 007, Illuminati. She be like, why you no buy, haha. More like this might be a good time to look for that second job. That's it? What? No, no. Wait a minute, then I at one point I took a wrong turn. So instead of playing, we sleep. I guess is the right decision then. To go on with the story. This can't be the real end now, can it? Or is it? Oh my god, this would be really depressing. Forget it. I only bought Sunflower War out of pressure. After shoving the game into my bin, I crawled into bed. For the next few weeks, I tried over and over to sell my calligraphies, but all of my works remained untouched. Well, aside from a few pedestrians who stepped on them by mistake. Wait, my bad. I did make one sale. This one guy said he needed my calligraphy to use as toilet paper. I had zero passion left for calligraphy. In fact, just thinking about it fueled me with anger. This was no longer the career for me. Today, I chose to retire for good. Oh, this is also a bad... This was the real ending? You've got to be kidding me. Okay, this time we ignore... no, I didn't want to load. Whoops, I wanted to... no, I wanted to load, right. Load save game, yes. Okay, let's see what happens if we ignore the child. Sorry, kid. Miss Vinty had a job to go to. Convincing myself that another person would help him, I headed off to work. The next morning, the kid from yesterday appeared on the news. The reporter announced he had gone missing. Guilt seized my heart and threatened to crush it. I ended up being just as selfish as the people I had criticized. A lowlife like me had no right to dream about success. I could never return to that place without being tormented by remorse. And so, my little stint as an artist came to an end. What? This was really the real ending? Oh, come on. Come on. I mean, I knew this game was short, but I didn't know it was that short. Oh, man. And now... well, I mean, it's a comedic ending. No complaints about that. But... like, come on, this is not so not nice. I want a nice happy ending. Oh, I'm sad. But there is a second game. So, I think I only make one episode out of it, and I start to play the second game. Yeah, that's actually a good idea. So, I hope you want to see what happens with our friend Vinty here. Because this can't be the end of her story, now can it? That is unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. So, thank you everybody for watching. I hope you had fun with this as well. I think for the short amount of time, it was really, really funny. And, you know, I even got into the character, even though the story was really, really short. So, I found it really entertaining. I hope you found it entertaining too. And I hope you come back for Without Within 2. So, once again, thank you, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.